Now, I already know what you're thinking. As soon as you clicked on this video, you're thinking, how is there possibly a top 10 best list of Lil Xan songs? This man has no good songs whatsoever. Well, let me tell you, he actually does. And that may say something more about my musical taste than anything else, but I just like these songs. And in fact, this list was a little bit hard to make because there was actually more than 10 songs I wanted to put on this list. And keep in mind, I'm not Anthony Fantano here. I'm not going to break down lyrical structure or the membrane of the song or any of that type of shit. This is just what sounds good to me. So without further ado, let's get into it. The top 10 best Lil Xan songs ever made. Before I get into the actual list, I got a couple honorable mentions here, and the first song we got is Who Are You?
I'm not their fucking bitches though. Who are you?
This is a song that was made pretty early on in Xan's career before he blew up, and overall it's just fun, catchy, and upbeat. This is the type of music that really got people to fall in love with Lil Xan. When I'm talking about the de facto Lil Xan song and everything I want to hear out of a Lil Xan song, this is a good example of that. It's fun, there's a lot of ad-libs, and just overall it sounds like he's smiling and having a great time while making it, so it's a great listen. Next honorable mention is I Might.
I might just run at these bands. Ain't got no homies, no friends.
And I'm not talking about the one with just Steven Cannon and Lil Xan. I'm actually talking about the remix version with YBN Namir and YBN Almighty J.
I might just run at these bands. Ain't got no homies, no friends.
And of course, I actually want to put this as the #1 best Lil Xan song of all time. But to be fair, it only really has a Lil Xan chorus, and it's basically carried by the 3 features.
Nigga gotta go get a bag. Young nigga gotta go get it fast. I fuck your bitch, so I know why you mad.
Something I do want to consider while making this entire list is the Steven Cannon factor. Now, if you don't know who Steven Cannon is, he's basically Lil Xan's much more talented friend who often collaborates with him on many songs, and in most cases he makes the song a lot better. But despite that, I don't want to rank these songs based off of his performance, because as good as he is, it's all about what Lil Xan is doing on these songs, so I'm basing it solely off of that. Despite the fact that I Might is an amazing song with a great beat, good verses, an infectious chorus, and just overall energy around it that just makes you want to drive too fast in a school zone, I can only base it off of just the chorus, which is basically just, I might just run up these Xans, I might just run it.
I might just run at these bands.
Which is okay, but it's just a chorus at the end of the day. We don't really see any legwork from Xan on this track. So as much as it hurts me to put it this low, it has to go in the honorable mentions and can't make the actual list. I ended up talking about that song for a little bit longer than I wanted to, so let's blast through the rest of these honorable mentions. Next up we got Fire.
Yeah, I lost my spleen.
And to be honest with you, this isn't my favorite Lil Xan song by any stretch of the imagination. It's good, middle of the road, perfectly listenable, but I think it's only so popular because of when it came out. It basically was the next big hit after Betrayed, and it is a good song. It had a Lyrical Lemonade video to come along with it, but overall it's just, I lost my spleen.
I lost my spleen.
It's pretty boring overall. But to put my personal thoughts aside for a minute, it definitely is one of the more popular tracks that came out by Lil Xan, and it seems mostly positively received, so I thought it was worth mentioning here. Next up we got Life Sucks.
Life sucks like really, really bad. Don't understand what the fuck you doing if you ain't doing shit.
And overall this is a good track, kind of middle of the road, but it does have a decent flow. It's upbeat, punchy, and just fun all around.
Heart breaks to pieces, you clean up the mess.
But of course the lyrics suck, even worse than normal. The chorus of this song is life sucks like really, really bad, like really, really bad, like really, really bad.
Really, really bad, and life sucks like really, really bad, and life sucks like really, really bad.
And that's pretty inexcusable, but for a Xan song, it is still pretty good. Just to give you a little bit of context around this song, it came out right around the end of Xan's drug addiction, and with all the terrible music that he was putting out during that period, hearing a track like this was definitely a breath of fresh air. Was it perfect? No, but hearing this type of music from Xan definitely gave me hope that he was going to go into a bright new direction after his drug addiction ended, but unfortunately he went a little bit too poppy.
I miss the love I shed for you.
This song is definitely poppy, but it's got more of a mix of the emo rap and the pop, whereas his new songs are just full-on pops. So, didn't really like that direction, but this song is a good combination of the two. I'm glad it exists. I think I definitely put too many honorable mentions here, but next up we got Go Down.
If shit go down, I'ma get down.
Now, and I don't know if anybody really likes or has ever even listened to this track, but overall I like how it sounds. It definitely has a kind of spacey vibe to it, and I think it works well, and it brings back positive memories of my past, so you can't fault me for that. And for my final honorable mention, I have Betrayed.
The long ministry, and I said I hate the long ministry.
And yes, I know what you're thinking, why is it here? Well, let's be honest, if I put it on the list, it's going to be #1, and that's going to make the list incredibly boring. So to make things a little bit more interesting, it goes here, and I'm going to give you 10 brand new songs you may have never heard before. I'll know why Betrayed is good. It's the de facto Xan song. It's got the vibe, it's sad, it's got the emo rap, sad boy, all that type of shit into it. Without further ado, let's get into the actual list.
Number 10.
So I struggled figuring out which track to put at number 10 because each of these are good in a different way. Some are much more catchy because of the features, which seems almost unfair, so I tried to rank these all based solely on Xan's performance, as I spoke on earlier. And to be honest with you, when it comes to Paranoid, Xan does a really good job.
I'm paranoid, stuck on the edge.
The track comes off a joint tape between Chris Miles and Lil Xan, and to be honest with you, on almost every track on this entire mixtape, Chris Miles completely bodies Lil Xan, because it seems like Lil Xan just comes in with the feature, he's kind of bored, he's kind of doing his thing, he's not drugged out in this. Let's just say his lyrics aren't that deep. It seems like Chris Miles has genuinely felt some of these loving emotions that go into the lyrics of these songs, where Lil Xan is just kind of saying like the basic stuff like, you left me at my flight, I
Maybe miss my flight.
won't see you, like just bullshit like that. Track, Chris lays down an extremely catchy hook that just gets stuck in your head and also gives you kind of a melancholic feel. Meanwhile, Xan does pretty good carrying his own on this, and he seems to even be coherent and kind of matching the vibe of the song.
My breath away, I think that we should run away.
That's not saying a lot, but for Xan, he's doing a great job here. His voice sounds nice, the singing's pretty good, and they both complement each other well. If you're going to listen to any track on this tape, pick this one.
Number 9.
Up next, we got another combo track with For the Better.
I got the women, got the drink, and the weather.
The rapper known as Kid Kaz, and overall this track is just amazing. The beat is just so different and upbeat, it brings back nostalgic feelings to me, and Kid Kaz just does a great job at portraying a feeling I almost can't even explain.
Pull up in foreign top out with Wang on my sweater.
Unfortunately, Xan does get kind of washed out on this track though. Why he doesn't take anything away from the song, I can't really say he adds a whole lot either.
Yeah, I'll show you that. My bitch, she bad. I love by that.
Despite that, this is during Xan's functional drug addict days, so as nonsensical as his lyrics are in this track, the way that he delivers them definitely adds a bit of a punch to them. I also like his ad-libs, and I especially like the part where he says, I feel like the man, whoa, haters hold me down, yeah.
Hey, yeah, I feel like the man. Hey, they just hold me down. What?
And it just overall, it sounds great. I'd even say it's a certified SoundCloud banger.
Number 8.
At number 8, we got the track Heartbreak Soldier off of Lil Xan's project, well, Heartbreak Soldier.
Heartbreak soldier, someone so yeah.
All things considered, this is definitely the strongest body of work that Lil Xan has ever put out, so it was kind of hard to pick which one would be the absolute best and most representative of the entire project to put on this list. And I had this thing on repeat back in high school. The beats are great, Xan's delivery is high energy and fun, and some of the tracks even have a bit of a deeper meaning with their lyrics. It really feels like Xan genuinely had something to say on this album compared to his usual, I'm sad, rich, and on drugs.
My vision, I built this up, it took a little bit.
People also hate me. Despite all the upsides to this project, it still does have one big shortcoming, and that's that it still doesn't have the best pen work. He often rhymes the same word twice, and a lot of these tracks suffer for that. Otherwise, it's a great project, besides the track Oh No. But the strongest of all of them is definitely Heartbreak Soldier. It has the strongest showing, the most interesting beat, and the least amount of Lil Xanism. So overall, it's a win.
Number 7.
We got basically coming in at number 7.
Nice got long, yeah, nice and dark.
For being the next best thing to Betrayed. While Deceive was heavily criticized for being a diet Betrayed, basically seems to take some of the sound Betrayed started and worked it into its own thing. It has some similar effects like the time reversal and the airy beat, as well as the lyrics going into the isolation that Xan has felt since gaining fame and falling further into his drug addiction.
Friends seem so distant, I might just go missing.
Overall, I think this is what a lot of people wanted to hear after Betrayed. It was kind of different, it had some different themes to it, but it was still dark and still a little bit goofy at the same time. A perfect little Xan song. If all the Total Xanarchy had sounded like this, I don't think we'd be having the problems that we are now with Xan. Number 6. Next up, we got Worst Day Ever.
Yeah.
And this is a track that was supposed to appear on Lil Xan's Be Safe album, his second studio album that never ended up materializing. And let me tell you, if the whole album was supposed to sound like this, we really missed out. In fact, I think some of Xan's best songs actually come from this era. It seems like he was really going in the right direction at this time. He wasn't too far into his drug addiction, and he made some really strong tracks that I will be talking about later in this video. But as far as Worst Day Ever goes, it's a spin on Mac Miller's song Best Day Ever, and of course it has Stephen Cannon on it.
Hell yeah, I grew up and screw up, shit go around like a hula.
Now, I know what you're thinking, Stephen Cannon must have completely bodied Xan on this track, but no, they actually go bar for bar in this thing, and it's pretty good.
I'm swimming in the ocean, I don't even see the coast.
I mean, Steve definitely does have the better verse on this, but Xan matches that energy and delivers a strong finish, paying respects to the fallen legend Mac Miller. With
I break hearts because my heart was broke. Hell yeah.
its great, weirdly creepy beat alongside the upbeat delivery with sadder lyrics, this song is a certified banger. Number 5. At number 5, we got Colorblind.
I've been so colorblind.
And yes, I have to say that this song is actually kind of overrated. It definitely is one of Xan's better songs, but the beat is just kind of weird mixed with Xan's downtrodden vocals. It doesn't really work as well as it should. I also feel like the lyrics are really bad on this track. Like, I feel like in most cases Xan doesn't have the best lyrics in most songs, but in this one it's almost incoherent. It doesn't even make sense. The one to rule them all, I'm the chosen one.
The one to rule them all, I'm the chosen one.
I just don't think bars like that do him any favors. With all that said, the song is still pretty good. Diplo definitely added a lot to this track, and the beat beat is amazing. I just don't think Zan complimented it as well as he could have. However, this is my favorite of the whole Diplo SoundCloud rapper trilogy with the Trippie Redd and the Lil Pump song. I think this is the strongest showing out of all of them. But would I choose to listen to it nowadays? Probably not. Number 4. At number 4, we got Tree Sap.
It's nothing, yeah.
And I didn't really want to put this song so low because in my opinion this might actually be Zan's best track, but I do have to admit, as much as I love it, there are some pretty glaring flaws on this one. It has this weird trippy beat that works perfectly with Zan's playful delivery, and the ad-libs are absolutely on point with this one. This is a perfect track for just listening to, chilling out, and smoking some weed. But not like fancy smoking weed, more like sitting in a room with your dingy friends and kind of smoking out of a dirty bong where the water hasn't been cleaned in a few years. It's kind of like that. Overall, it just sounds like Zan is back to his classic style, which so many people appreciate from him. And this is also a track that was supposed to appear on Be Safe, so you can see that this album was turning out pretty stacked. Fortunately, there is one big glaring flaw with this song, and it's the fact that Zan stops rapping around the 2-minute mark and then just lets the beat play out for a whole full minute. And that is just not good. I mean, I get it, it was kind of a chill track in the first place, but just getting so lazy that you completely stop rapping on your own song, it doesn't add anything. Maybe this track was supposed to have a feature or something, but either way, I think he should have just cut it 30 seconds before and it would have been perfect. But he didn't, so unfortunately it has to land here at number 4. Number 3. Next up we got Midnight in Prague. And this is basically the evolution of Tree Sap. Once again, it's completely carried by its vibes, but it also has some pretty good lyrics to it as well. And of course, the saxophone. It just gives such a cool vibe. It definitely makes you feel like you're actually somewhere at midnight in a different country you've never been to before. Tree Sap is a song that's made for smoking some weed with your friends in a skunky shed. This is a track that's made to be driving down the highway with the window open, joint in hand, under the full moon. It's just that elegant. So elegant I can't even say the word right. If this was the track that directly followed up Betrayed, I think Zan would have had a much longer lasting career, but unfortunately that's not what happened. I do remember Zan previewing this song around the time after Total Xanarchy came out, so it's pretty clear that he made it not too long after that album, and the difference in quality is just so jarring. And of course, this track was supposed to be on Be Safe, so why did that album not come out? Come on, Zan. Number 2. So I miscounted this list, so number 2 is a tie between bands.
Yeah, bands.
And Xanarchy.
Moving silent though. Yeah.
I basically like them for the exact same reason. They're very chill, the ad-libs are there, and they're really goofy. First up we got Bands, an absolute classic from Lil Xan that was definitely one of his most popular tracks during his early career.
In 20s, 40s in my hands, man.
It actually was so popular that it helped him get to where he is today. The vibes are on point, the energy is on point, and he just has so much energy throughout the entire track. And when Xan starts singing 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s,
40s, 50s, 60s, 20s, 40s, 50s, 60s,
you just can't help but sing along. Going back to the friend comparison from before, this track just makes you feel like you're hanging out with some friends, freestyling a little bit, and just for one moment, nothing else really matters. You're just catching a wave and existing in the moment. A track like that is truly something special, and it's a Lil Xan song of all things. And then we got Xanarchy, which is basically just happiness wrapped up in a song, and the ad-libs on this thing are absolutely godly. The best Lil Xan ad-libs ever. Like somehow Lil Xan actually mumbles on the song, goes and he makes it sound good. I don't know how this is the same guy that made all those tracks on the worst list. Believe it or not, at one point Lil Xan really had charisma, and it shines through on this track, so they both deserve to be number 1, but they aren't. And the number 1 Lil Xan song is... Number 1 is Lies.
pray to God like a lie, please slit my throat.
The track created between both Lil Xan and Lil Sky shortly after the Total Xanarchy album. That fact alone just completely blows my mind. It's crazy how he made such a lackluster ho-hum album with just so much creaking and little energy, and then he made this absolutely amazing song.
Yeah, no more heartbreaks, I made so many mistakes.
This is basically the quintessential Lil Xan song in my opinion. It has all the factors from the other songs all brought together to make an absolutely amazing track. Sure, some songs do a few things stronger than this one in different aspects, but this has all of those aspects put together. The ad-libs, the beat, the melancholic undertones, the lyrics, everything is there. The hook is just instantly catchy, and I would say that both Xan and Skies go toe-to-toe on this track. It's the type of song that just gets better and better, never overstaying its welcome or falling into monotony. Of course, I will say that I think Skies is the highlight of this track with his classic fast flow that made everybody fall in love with him in the first place.
Hey, so this sort of light of mine, tattoos all down my spine.
His verse is really just an olive on top of a sandwich. Yes, it wouldn't be as good without Lil Skies' verse, but I think that Xan really prepared the plate on his own, and then Skies just added that little bit more flavor to push it into being an absolute SoundCloud classic fucking banger. And this song isn't just good by Lil Xan standards. This is just a straight up good song, and it's the type of music that I am sorely lacking in the modern rap game. So one last time I have to tell you, if you're going to listen to one Lil Xan song, make this track the one that you listen to.
And when you wanna die, please slit my throat.
And with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched to the end of this, leave a knife emoji in the comments below. Subscribe because I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I would truly appreciate if you could subscribe. It would be life-changing for me. Instagram, Discord, you know all the rest. But besides that, I love you. Talk to you next time. Bye.